Nice deep breath. Dear Lord, we are all joined together in this evening out of curiosity, out of a desire to know and understand, and we request the presence of your spirits, angels, to be with us in this evening and answer our questions, give us the information, guidance, and help that we desire in this evening. We surround ourselves with the white light of truth. Nothing but that which is of the truth or for our good shall approach us. For we are children of God, and he will protect us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Hi, everybody. How is everybody this evening? It is so nice to be with you in this evening. Is everybody good? I hope so. I can't hear any replies, but I'm sure you're all fine right now. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get you a healer to be with you in this evening. If you have any friends or family members that you want to send healing to also, knowing that your healing is with you, just mentally ask them to also give healing to whoever you happen to name. And that way, you'll send the healing forth to someone else. He'll send it to you as well as someone else for you. And you will be able to then do a service to others in that way. So if you just be patient a moment, I'm going to get your healers now. All right, they are all dispensed. And now I will get Ronkar for you. If you want to speak to someone else, you can always ask Ronkar to bring someone else in, or ask for me back, and I will bring someone else in for you. Okay, I think that's it for now. I'm getting Ronkar. Talk to you later. Good evening. It is I, Ronkar. It is my pleasure to be with you in this evening. There are many changes coming around to what is happening around you. Things are definitely improving and getting better. Although your politicians, many of them are reluctant to give up the power they have imposed upon you by telling you to keep socially distant. But it is up to you. If you wish to change that, you need to take the actions that you would need to take in order to increase pressure upon the governors of your states to allow you to open up, is the phrase that they are using. And thinking of opening up, let us talk about yourselves when you are closed or you are open. Exactly what is happening to you? What do those phrases mean to you? When you are open, that means, is generally meant to express that you are willing and able to listen to the advice and the help of others. Being open means you are willing to learn new things that might change your life and might give you the inspiration that you need. Being open also opens you to that inspiration. And as you are open to this inspiration, you can request the guidance that you want from your guides and from the spirits that are present throughout the universe, but specifically your guides and the ones that are with you to help you in every day. For you each have a nice surrounding of people that are your guides, that are your helpers, that would seek to aid you in any way that they can. And I think I would like to go through those. For some of you may not be aware of all the types that are available to you. You see, there is always the little one. You know Juana, who spoke first? Well, these are called joy guides. And these joy guides are like, they like to portray themselves as young children because they always seek to be happy and uplifting and helpful, like a child who wishes to help you in every way. And so they can help you find things. They can help you attract things to yourself that you might like. They can help you in many ways, but a lot of them are quite personal in the help that they give to you. Then there is the individual called your doctor of philosophy. That's a very nice term. And your doctor of philosophy may portray himself or herself as a male or a female, adopting either the name of a female or the name of a doctor. And frequently they use the title doctor, so that they try to help you with business. They help you with your relationships. They help you with managing things. And that is their area of expertise. And then there is, of course, your medical doctor. And he is a spirit who has your physical well-being at heart. He seeks to keep you in good health, either through advice or through the adding of chemicals, so to speak, energy into your aura that might be of service to yourself. There is someone speaking?
Yes, could you please keep yourself muted? Because if you don't mute yourself, we get other people's screens popping in every time you move or make a noise. Thank you.
So we are up to your doctor of medicine. And I am not sure whether there is something wrong with the electronics through which I am speaking to you, or there is someone else speaking who is not muted. Perhaps it is the electronics. Yes, there is an echo.
It is the electronics. You're getting an echo.
Is it possible for you all to hear me okay, or do I need to do something? I cannot do something, but we can ask someone else.
It's the person who's got a phone, I think. We'll kick them off and they can rejoin.
Okay. I have been advised that we believe it is an individual has joined us via phone, and we will be removing them from the line, and we are asking them to rejoin because it is a connection perhaps that is not correct. So we have your doctor of philosophy, we have your doctor of medicine. Now you also have a protector, and that protector is for your physical well-being as well as your physical possessions. They are frequently portray themselves as perhaps an American Indian or an African Indian, an African native, somebody who is very strong. They frequently do not say much, but they seek to be helpful also. You can place them in charge of your being, your belongings when you go away, to ask them to guard things so that your home is safe, so that your belongings are safe. They can also, you can request that they find parking spaces for you. Of course, most of you are not driving right now, so you will not be able to use that service. But if you wish to have a parking space close to where you are going, you can always request it. And you may be surprised at how good they are at having someone leave shortly before you arrive, so there happens to be a space available right where you would like to park. And then you have a spiritual guide that is with you at all times. He is referred to as your master guide. And he may portray himself as Master so-and-so, or Dr. this, or just another name. He is not important as to what the name is, because all of these names are adopted, either because they signify something about a previous incarnation, or because they like the name. And it is not important what they are named. It is helpful to you, however, to have a name when you are requesting help from these individuals. And so I just thought I would talk about your guides and the types of guides there are. Now, with the medium you have met Buana, and I am not one of the medium's guides. I am a guide to her circle, to those, I am someone that she allows to speak through her for information, and I have always been available to any member who has come to a circle or has listened into a session in which she has been trance channeling, and I will seek to help. Now, if you ask for your answers from your guides, when you are asking something from guides, it is very important that you just listen and that you accept the thoughts that come into your mind. The most common problems that individuals have in communicating with their guides is that they don't believe what they hear. So that when you ask your guide a question, and in your head, you come up with an answer, and it was the answer you were hoping to hear in particular, you know it is just you giving yourself the answer, but that may not be true. You may be hearing your guide. And it is important that you accept that this is what happens. It sounds like it is you thinking, because that is how the information is coming to you. Another way the answers that you seek may come to you is through conversation with another individual. You may find mysteriously out of the blue that someone you know, or even the TV set, occasionally has exactly the information you have been seeking, which is coming to you in this way. For your guides can often influence someone else to speak about what it is you need to hear. So you need to accept the fact that spirit speaks to you in many ways. Sometimes it comes into your head as regular words. Sometimes it comes into your head as visions, and sometimes you hear it through the mouths of others and other media. A book may open to exactly the answer you are seeking, or a magazine. It is however spirit, whatever is around, that spirit can utilize to help you get the information you desire. Many of you have a very strong belief in spirits, and you are already attuned to your spirits, asking questions, getting answers. But for those of you who have not yet chosen to do this, I encourage you to try. Speak to your guide, and it does not matter if you do not know a name for your guide, just speak to them and tell them what you want, and then listen to see if you get the answer and the inspiration that you want, that you need, that you seek, and that you desire. Now, I am ready to take questions. Are there any questions that you would like answered?
Hello.
Yes.
How do you know when, I mean, I don't know which ones, I didn't even know I had so many guides or whatever. I do ask questions or get answers, and you kind of get answers. I don't know who or they're coming from though. I
It does
don't
not matter unless you wish to have a name.
Oh, okay.
Does it matter what they are called?
I I guess not.
No. It is your guardian angel. It is your guide. It is your helper in whatever way. And you can even decide to name them.
So is this actually a spirit of many facets, so to speak? Not individual ones?
You may call it, may be that is also true, that you are speaking to, you could be speaking to different spirits, or let us just say you are getting the answers possibly from different spirits depending upon what type of answers you are speaking, or you are seeking, excuse me, so that it is up to you. You do not need a name, is what I am saying.
Okay.
You ask spirit, you can simply say, Spirit, help me.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, now of course the major question is our thoughts. I mean, you can have just a thought and it kind of gives you an answer, but then you have thoughts that may not be coming from spirit as a suggestion, and how would you know the difference?
This is what the difficulty is.
Yes.
Because that is why people do not believe what they hear and do not act on what they hear, because they believe that this thought is coming from their own mind and their own desire. And that is precisely what I was referring to when I said you need to listen and you need to trust. If the source were your higher self, which is attached to the spirit world at all times and in communication with such, the information is still likely to be relevant and helpful to yourself. So that you ask the question, you hear what the answer is, and you have to trust that it is spirit speaking to you. Now, there may be times when spirit has not spoken to you, particularly if you were just starting, because you have not asked them anything in the past. And if you do not develop a relationship with them, if you have kept them at bay by not believing in them or not thinking that you can hear from spirit, you will say that the communication is a bit rusty and needs to be developed. So it is best for you to act upon what you hear and assume that it comes from spirit. You will soon know the difference between your imagination, so to speak, and the information that comes from spirit. Frequently, that which comes from spirit would be different than what you would like, in which case then it probably is from spirit.
Okay. Now I hate to ask this, but these people that go around saying, well, the devil made me do it, or people who commit criminal crimes and say they were told to do it, and that sort of thing. I mean, where are they coming from? Surely spirit's not telling them to do all this stuff, I hope.
Of course not.
So where
Spirit,
does it come from?
spirit would not give you the advice to do anything dishonest or that might put yourself in jeopardy from a moral or an ethical question, viewpoint, vantage point. Do you understand? Spirit would not help you or want you to place yourself in moral peril.
Okay.
So those people who commit murders because they have heard a voice tell them that someone needs to die and that they must do it, those are people who are simply crazy, probably schizophrenics. And they are not in touch with the real world. So they are not in touch with the spirit world, that is for sure.
Okay. Is there any help for them?
I believe that they have developed medications which help these individuals to tamp down the illusions that they hear. And
No way
help.
they could have prevented it to begin with.
I'm sorry, ask the question again.
There's no way they could have prevented it to begin with. Like they say, these people are born that way.
I do not believe most babies are schizophrenic, no matter how strange they may seem.
Okay.
It is usually something that just develops later in life. I think perhaps as late teenagers or early 20s or 30s or somewhere in there, it comes about. And that's a malfunctioning of the brain.
Okay. And what about these children that they say like kill animals and stuff like that as a child and they grow up to be murderers, but they're still
Yes.
as children?
Well, most of those children have been abused as children. And that is why they are busy killing animals and causing others pain, because they experience that in their own life, probably through at the hands of abusive parents or abusive adults who are connected with them.
So they weren't born that way.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Are there other questions?
Oh, Miss Susan Hopler has a question.
Hi, this is Beth, Suzanne's friend. I met you last night. How are you?
Oh, I'm very good, Beth. It is, you met the medium last night, yes.
Oh, I thought I meant you. Okay, yes, I met the medium. Okay, so I love what you
I'm
said.
speaking through the medium, so it is not.
Can you tell me if you can know my son Bradley? He's almost passed for a year, and I want to speak with him.
I can see if we can get in touch with Bradley. It is unlikely at this time that he will be available. However, let me ask Juana to come back and let her see if there is a problem. So I will have to depart for a while or a period, and Juana will come back, and we can ask Juana if she can talk to Bradley. So one moment, please. Hi, I'm back. Okay, you want to talk to Bradley?
Yes, please.
Let me see if I can find him. He probably won't be able to talk to through the medium, that is for sure. But maybe I can get you the answers from him. I can at least locate him for you. One moment, please. Oh, would you give me his last name?
Bangar, Bradley Bangar.
Bangar. Okay, Bradley. One moment. Okay, I have someone here who claims to be Bradley Bungar.
Wow.
What would you like to question him?
I love you, Brad. I want to know if you're okay.
Oh, I will answer that one for him. Yes, he is fine, because, you know, once people cross over, a lot of the problems that they had when they were in the physical world, of course, do not apply any longer.
Oh, I want to ask him something very important that somebody that got in touch with his soul told me, that he was in Vietnam in the life before he was with me, that he was a soldier in Vietnam. I want to know if he was.
Well, I will ask him.
Thank you.
He is showing me that he was a soldier, but he was not an American soldier, for he's not showing me an American face. He's showing me an Oriental face.
Wow. Wow, that's very interesting. I didn't even think of that. And when he was in this life with me, all his friends were Asian, and he ate Japanese food his whole childhood.
Well, I guess there was still something left from the incarnation that impelled him to desire to have Asian foods. But I am seeing an Asian face. I do not know if he is Vietnamese or Chinese, because they were both over there.
Wow, that's incredible. And what else? I mean, I don't know what to ask him. There's so many questions.
That is okay.
Does he care? Does he care? I want him to tell him, you know, he passed away here, they were from neglect in a hospital. And I want him to know that I'm going to get those people so they don't hurt other people, because I know that they hurt him.
Well, he is not, it is not something that he needed to hear. He is okay that you want to do that, but it is okay to forgive them, is
Okay.
what he wants you to know.
Okay.
That if you can forgive them, it is better for you. And he loves you too, he says. He wants you to be happy, even though he has moved on and is now in spirit.
Okay, tell him I love him so much and thank you so much.
You are welcome. And he knows of your love, and he wants you to know he loves you too.
I want to contact him sometime.
Well, just speak to him.
Yeah.
That's what,
Love you, Brad.
that's what Lankar was talking about. Just say, Bradley, and then ask the question, and then wait to hear the answer.
Okay.
And you will be able to find yourself getting in communication with him. And if you want to make that communication more real for yourself, it is okay for you to say that you want to know that it's really him, and that if it is, you want something to happen. Now, don't make it too hard, because he can't do too many things in spirit, you know, but he may help you find a penny or $1 or a picture or some little thing he might help you to come across. And this will be how you know that it is him.
Okay, thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
You are welcome. And I'm going to bring Rankar back.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yes, it is I, Rankar, once again. How may I be of assistance? Are there any more questions for me while I am present?
I have a question. I was wondering if during this time, if the spiritual development that is happening among at least working people or the more common people of every country due to the COVID virus, if that is also happening within those in the political hierarchy, are they as amenable to the spiritual development, the presidents and the elite who in the governments who run the other countries of the world?
I do understand your question. And for you plain old ordinary people, such as everyone on the phone call, such as the medium, her family members, the people who are not in government, you are being asked to act in different ways, to give up certain things that you have always enjoyed, certain privileges, certain abilities, at least temporarily. And while your governments are trying to help you on a financial basis by giving you money, you are still being asked to forego many things and to act differently than you did. And so that you are correct in that this is a learning process, and as such can be a source of spiritual development for yourself. For by giving up those things that you like and self-disciplining yourself to behave as others would like you to behave, you acquire more control over yourself. And you are forced, since you are in a quiet time, so to speak, you are forced to think about many situations. You have the opportunity to think more because there is less demands upon yourself. Now, when it comes to your politicians, there is a wide variety in politicians. Many of them already know it all. I'm sure you're well aware of those. Those are some of your more obnoxious, outspoken leaders. Those are the ones who know it all already. There is little that they can learn. Many of them are in politics because it gives them a power. And they are already so engaged in their own thoughts of being in power and being so powerful that they can help you and they guide you and they know what is right for you, that these powerful individuals are not really open to development. Do you understand? Because they already consider that they have considerably more knowledge and understanding than you do. That is why they went into politics. Now, many of them have gone into politics to try to help you, to represent you, be more altruistic in what they are doing. And so they are more open to development, perhaps, because they have more empathy to what is happening to the people around them. And they are more concerned for the welfare of their constituents and others. And these individuals, in a sense, do grow and develop spiritually. But they are also a bit more highly developed spiritually to begin with than those who purely go into government for the power that it gives them, because they are attracted to they feel they know a great deal more than average. They feel their words, their actions will be more helpful to people than others. And some of them are so opinionated, they are not open to learning new things, but it depends. So we cannot make generalizations on your politicians. Yes, some of them will grow and experience things during this time. But just as there are those individuals in what you termed the common people who will also not learn, if you understand. They will be annoyed and angry and resentful over the restrictions and may even be more contentious than they are normally, because they are unhappy by the restrictions. And so they may get angry at others and blame others for the situations they are in. And it all depends upon personalities. You cannot generalize such a thing as spiritual development. You see, many people go through difficult times and they learn from those difficult times. And they become more aware of their own emotions, their own feelings, the thoughts and feelings of others. They begin to see light in the sense of understanding how things work, knowing that by keeping a positive mindset, that they actually help create good situations all around themselves. By taking the best actions possible, they create goodness and health and well-being. But there are those who, going through the similar circumstances, simply become, as I have said, resentful, angry, annoyed. And so it is just a matter of personality. We cannot say that one type of situation enhances spiritual growth. Even those who decide to go into a spiritual lifestyle by joining spiritual organizations, maybe the priesthood, or becoming nuns or devout Buddhists or devout Catholics, It does not matter what they are. They may be seeking spiritual development, but many are the traps along the way by ego. And as a result, they may find themselves, without realizing it, even though they are seeking to be spiritual adepts, being waylaid into thoughts of how spiritual they are, and what they can accomplish, so that they are not really growing spiritually. You
It's
understand?
one of, I do, and thank you so much. It's a wonderful answer. So one of the functions of this COVID is not to have the majority of the people across the world have become more introspective, become more spiritual throughout this ordeal that everyone is going through.
I cannot say that that is a purpose. This COVID, as it developed, as it came about, is not necessarily for a spiritual purpose at all. It is simply the results of the actions of people in a different place, acting in a different way with a different belief for different purposes. And as this virus was created, either accidentally, it was accidentally created. It was thought to be something else that they were working on, and instead this is what came forth through errors in judgment and technique or things that they were doing. And as a result, it has been leashed upon the world. So God does not send trials and tribulations and plagues, even if the old books attribute such things to himself. But it is the consciousness of the whole that truly creates and attracts such situations such as this. Now, I believe you may be aware already, and certainly your government is becoming aware of the fact that many more people have had this virus than they originally thought. And this is soon to be confirmed in many ways. But those people, so many of them had very minor symptoms or infections, so that it did not make them very ill. And they thought perhaps they just had a cold, or it was their allergies, or it was a different illness that was coming up. And so these people did not become substantially ill from it and didn't even notice that it had happened. So it is quite an assortment of reactions that manifest from exposure to the virus. So you can say that there was a group of people that chose to be experimenting with viruses for the purpose of learning things and demonstrating things. And they accidentally released this virus into the rest of the world. And as it was different than had been around before, they could not, people did not have immune systems that were set up to quickly diagnose the issue. And for many people whose immune systems were not good, they of course came down with very severe cases of the COVID-19, and many of them transitioned. Others recovered, and some hardly noticed it at all.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time and your answers.
You're welcome. And it would be nice for me if you would just give me your name when you are asking the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. This was Nancy.
Nancy, thank you very much for your question. Are there other questions anyone has? Well, we do not seem to have too many questions tonight.
There's more.
There's more coming?
There's people that know they have to unmute themselves
Oh.
and speak.
Please unmute yourself. You can take your cursor and put it on your microphone off to the right. And when you click on it, you unmute. I believe that is how it is done.
More or less. But if you unmute yourself, then you can speak and ask a question. Yes. And I guess I'll take a stab at a quick question.
Michael has a question.
Okay, Agnes, go ahead.
Hi, Ronka.
Good
Would it have made any difference if we didn't lock ourselves down? If we didn't go through all of this and the government didn't do all of this? Would it have made, did any of this make a difference?
Yes, it did make a difference. But many mistakes have been made in the control of it, certainly in and around New York City. There was not the consciousness that touching things and being in close quarters right in the beginning was an easy way of spreading the virus. Do you understand? So it would have been helpful if perhaps the masks and keeping your face covered had been instituted, more so even than this stay at home that they have chosen to put everybody in at this time. Many things have been stopped and prohibited that really did not substantially make any difference toward limiting the virus. It makes no sense to stop people from going on a golf course where there is plenty of fresh air, and it is unlikely that speaking to one another is likely to infect one another. But these things were not known, and so therefore the government took the actions that it did. And your question was, did it make a difference? Well, it was helpful from the point of view that it did separate you all, and for many people, there was no transmission of the virus to others. But there has been a certain amount of transmission that occurs, I don't know how to express it. Not everything was transmitted because you were in close proximity to someone, but it required a susceptible individual to be exposed in order to manifest it and then start spreading it. Do you understand what I'm trying to express? It is very hard for me to express.
Are you saying that certain people are transmitters more than others? Or there are more people that are more receptive than others?
Well, certainly there are people that are more receptive than others.
What makes them more receptive?
You are already aware those that did not survive were often older. They were often had, the phrase is underlying conditions which weakened their bodies. And so it was difficult for the bodies to sustain themselves because of conditions that existed. Certainly, if your heart was not strong and you contracted the virus and it began to affect your lungs so that you were not getting proper oxygen, then the heart was not getting enough oxygen, the muscles were not getting enough oxygen, everything in the body was affected by the fact you were not getting enough oxygen, and transition may have occurred rather quickly because the body was not capable of sustaining itself due to problems it already had. Do you understand?
Does your mental or spiritual state make you more or less receptive?
I would not say your spiritual state makes you more or less receptive, but your mental state definitely makes you more or less receptive. those people who are optimistic, those people who are happy, those people who in general are enjoying their lives and have a great deal of energy are less likely to be affected. That is partially because their bodies are much more healthy than others. Being spiritual does not affect the body as much. If being spiritual implies that you are very forgiving, that you do not get upset over the actions of others, so that you do not create the stress hormones, which you have all heard about. That is known to science these days. I believe it is called cortisol. And if you don't produce great quantities of that, that hormone stresses your body. It makes it more difficult for the air to move in and out of your lungs. It's more difficult for your liver and your kidneys to cleanse your blood. It is more difficult for your immune system to move quickly into gear to eliminate viruses and other offenders when you are in stress. And so therefore, that type of a situation, if you are more spiritual and you manage all that stuff very well, then it can help you. But spiritual people, people who feel spiritual, people who think ethically and morally, may also have other things which cause them to be stressed over situations. Or spiritual is a very difficult thing to define. And not everyone who is spiritual is in good health.
I have a question.
Yes.
They said that in some people, their body goes into hyper attack mode against the virus, and that's what kills them. Could you explain that to us?
Oh, I believe you were saying that along with killing virus, it kills parts of the body. Is that what these people are expressing? That is how I would interpret that situation.
I am not so sure I understand what it is that happens, other than their immune system gets into overdrive, and then their body, then they die.
Yes, that usually means that the immune system begins to attack the body itself. Now, you are aware there are things called autoimmune diseases. And these autoimmune diseases are where the body attacks itself. They are such things as lupus and multiple sclerosis, and maybe even, I was going to say Parkinson's, but there are some other nervous disorders that people can acquire, where something where the body immune system has attacked a part of the body. And that does happen for individuals. There are a number of reasons why that could happen, some of them having to do with personality, but some of them having to do with gene susceptibility. Even though your family may have had a gene for something, does not mean that you have that gene. And it does not mean that your gene will be turned on and attack your body, but it could be that. So I believe that is what they are talking about. And they have found, yes, that there are some people where it seems like something such as the lining of the lungs gets attacked by the immune system. It causes difficulties. You know that blood clots, while these are very helpful, should you cut yourself, the if the system is not properly attuned, you can even form blood clots when you have not hurt yourself or injured yourself in any way. And in a sense, that is the type of thing that we are talking about, something going haywire in the normal systems of the body.
Okay, and okay, I understand that. Then with the children, it's not affecting them. Is it because they're used to seeing strange viruses and germs and their bodies don't attack it like in grown-ups?
Well, in children, they are, you might say, the body is always learning as a child. You are learning how to move, you are learning how to think, you are learning how to see and interpret what you see. And so the body is always in a learning mode, and that includes your immune system, which is learning to identify those things which both help you and do not help you, those that make you sick. That is why small children, infants and such, can often develop high fevers over relatively minor situations, including just the stress of getting teeth. The body reacts to that stress of teething by causing the temperature to spike, because it is one way in which the body attacks germs and viruses and things such as that. So in a sense, children in general are more resilient, have more energy, and much more healthier reserves of energy, which help them to eliminate the virus much more easily. Is that helpful?
Very helpful, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question. Someone else? Well,
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if these massive spending packages that Congress has been passing will end up hurting our economy in the long run.
Unfortunately, well, what is most important at this time is that they open up your economy and allow everyone who is well and healthy to return to work. There are so many things that need to be done. People will be very happy to go out and spend money, which will help the businesses. They will drive their cars, which will increase your need for oil products and gasoline and help the oil industries. They will ride in the airplanes, and they will help the travel industries. It is important that this be opened up, because at this point in time, there are many things that are known about the virus, which allows them to help people survive an attack of this virus much better. And as a result, there may be a second wave. It will not be as extraordinary as it was. You know, in New York City, one of the ways in which the virus was spread quite frequently was simply the fact of people using elevators to get up and down to where they live, because it was too far to climb the stairs. And the air in the elevators is somewhat constrained. So if someone was coming down with the virus and coughed, although the doors would open at the next floor, there would still be remaining active viral stuff in the elevator. So the elevators, the subways, these small enclosed situations all help to spread the virus to many people. A little bit less so in taxi cabs, but it was still there in all these situations. You could not evacuate the air that was in a taxi cab just because you changed passengers. And so this also helped to spread the virus. Most of it is spread airborne. Now, I have gotten lost in my explanation on the spread. And so what was the question again?
Whether these massive spending
the
bills
spending
will
cuts.
end up hurting our economy.
So Congress is spending a lot of money trying to keep the economy going, and it will have it will cause its own set of problems and difficulties, which, although they will not necessarily bring to illness and death, they will cause difficulties for many people. It is just important to open it up and get it back to what, as close to normal as it has been. There have been many changes. Actually, this program is the result of a change that took place because of the need for people to stay in their homes. And so this church made offerings to help people keep them engaged in metaphysical studies and thought and interesting things. So to answer your question once again, is it will cause a different set of difficulties. Many things will be changed. Perhaps there will never be as many people commuting to work as there once was, but there will still be plenty of commuters. And so I cannot forecast how this will turn out, but it will have a consequence that will probably cause difficulty for many people. Are there other questions? I know there is another question.
Yes, hi. My name's Julia. I was just wondering if my spirit guides have any messages for me. Maybe they can come through you.
Well, would you like to speak to one? I will have to depart before they can come through the medium. Do you have a name for someone that you wish to speak to?
No, I feel like they've been trying to come through for quite a while, but I am not a professional medium, and I pick up on things once in a while, but I have a really hard time getting details, and so I don't even know what their names are.
Okay, I understand. And one of the things I would like to say to you, Julia, when you say that you have a hard time getting details, is that you must realize that I do not know what details you are seeking, but Spirit will rarely give you an outline plan that you must follow exactly. It can give you information and help and point you in the right direction. But it is important for you to make your own decisions and to figure things out and take actions, for that is how you learn. And so it would be of no help at all for Spirit to say, I want you to do this, 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 and this, and that will solve your problem. They will simply say that try this as a way of solving your problem. So by simply looking into yourself, asking Spirit for help and guidance, and then responding to what you get as a way of dealing with something, even if it is incorrect, because it has been, even if it is not the best way or a possible way for you to do something, having come from Spirit, you can still make a stab at it, so to speak, and then ask for a different solution so that you can eventually come what you need to do. And your name is Julia. And I will ask Juana to get you the name of a guide. How is that?
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, one moment, please. Julia, may I have your last name?
Walker.
Walker?
Walker, yeah.
Okay, one moment, please. Hi, Julia. It's Juana. I came in and I asked for the name of your joy guide, and she has given me the name of Joyce. She likes to be known as Joyce, and she is just a helper to you at this time. Now, I do not know which one guide you wanted to speak to, so I just got your joy guide because, of course, I think they're the best, because I'm a joy guide too. So you can call her Joyce and ask her your questions. And if you think you need somebody stronger than that, why don't you ask Joyce to give you the name of someone else that you think maybe your doctor of philosophy, but Joyce can be of help to you at this time. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye for the moment. Bye. Good evening. It is Rankar again. Is there any other question I can try to answer?
Hey, this is Laura. I have a question. I often get signs like cardinals or a penny, or a clock will start chiming that wasn't working before, things like that. And I feel like they're somebody trying to give me a signal or something. But my question, I guess, is for me, I don't know, is it somebody that I knew that's passed on, or are the guides someone different, or and who are they, and how do I know?
Well, usually, for the type of manifestations you are talking about, these are often loved ones who have passed over. So if you have your parents have transitioned, it could be your mother, your father. If there was some other one else that you were close to, it could be that individual. And to find out is simply to ask to have a repeat, such as, if it is my mother, would you please show me the cardinal again and see how long it takes? And if it doesn't come, well, I guess it wasn't your mother. Do you understand?
Yes.
So for questioning, you can ask, you can find out who that person could possibly be. If you do not feel, do you have people that you have been close to who have transitioned?
Yes, my mother-in-law, my mother, my grandparents.
So you have many loved ones on that are in spirit. And so it is best just to ask, if it is you, Mom, please have this happen again so that I know that it is you thinking of me. For that is what it probably is, that it is one of your family members who is wishing you to know that you are still loved, and they are perhaps thinking of you or helping you in this situation while they are in spirit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
I'd like to self-empower if possible.
Good.
Are there other questions?
I have a question. This is Doug.
Hello, Doug.
Hi. I had two cats, and one passed recently, like a month and a half ago. That was the last one. Do you see pets in heaven, or did the other people that have passed?
That is an interesting question. Animal souls are a bit different than human souls in that they come from an oversoul. In other words, it's a group soul, which is the soul of all cats. And they individualize out of that group soul. So your cat, your pet, upon transition, would have returned to the group soul. Now, there have been occasions where animals are so attached to their humans that they are rather reluctant to go back into the oversoul and kind of stay around for a little while because, well, I cannot truly explain why on that, not being a cat or an animal. I have had my human incarnations. And so these animals they do stay around sometimes after they transition. So you may see them or perceive them in places, but they will eventually move back into the oversoul to come forth again to another animal. There have been instances where people distinctly know that a current pet was a former pet because of the way it acts. And this does happen from time to time.
There was a movie about that.
Animals coming back, yes.
Did they see another human spirit on the other side? with a pet, would another spirit on the other side see a pet? If I pass, will I see my pet?
It is possible. This is not a question I have investigated to see. It was not something that I desired from any of my incarnations. If you give me a moment, I will try to research it. Would that be satisfactory?
Sure, thank you.
One moment. So as I looked for your answer, I had several people who came to me who told me they came with their pets. And I was a bit surprised. But upon transition, they had been so attached to a particular pet that they sought them out in some way. They attracted that pet soul back to themselves out of the oversoul. Now, I would assume that that means that that aspect of your former pet had not incarnated in a different animal body, being a new pet to someone else, but was still available for coming in. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but I did have 3 separate individuals who showed up with their pets to say, yes, it does work if you want it bad enough.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there other questions?
Roncar, this is Tanya. I have a question. I had nightmares as a child, and now I'm 52. And for a couple years, I bolt up in the middle of the night, not able to sleep. First thought, of course, is I'm not going to have enough money to pay a bill. Is there something you can help me with that?
That is your
whomever.
anxiety, which is waking you up as opposed to a nightmare. Is that true?
Correct. The dreams, they're no longer nightmares, but now it's anxiety. Yeah.
Yes. And you need to practice telling yourself that there is always enough supply, that you always have enough money, that the right money will always come into yourself. For affirming that on a daily and regular basis will allow that to come in. You also make a spiritual practice of giving money. This also is helpful for assuring that you will always have the money that you need to pay. Now, if you think back and you are worried about it, while there may have been some times when you were definitely lacking in cash, but enough would show up just to carry you through. Is that not true?
That is true. Mm-hmm.
And that is the way of things. Now, I know that each and every one of you on the earth plane would not like to be living that kind of an existence where there is a need for funds and no apparent way that those funds could come to you. And as a result, you're not necessarily happy to be living that way. But to know that this is what is for you, that you always have enough money to pay your bills. And to change that affirmation to know that you always have more than enough money to pay your bills and obligations. So you, if you wish, can start out by simply affirming all the time, constantly, and particularly when you are worried, I know that I will have enough money to pay this bill when it was due or before it gets too past due, but I will always have enough money to pay my bills. And to know that in yourself and in your heart in every way that you can. And then you do need to change it, because why should you live like that? You must start to say, I will always have more than enough money to pay my bills on time. I will have all the money I need to pay my bills on time before they are due. for I always have more than enough. I have everything I need and more than enough. By adopting these attitudes, it is the law of attraction. You will attract to yourself those circumstances, the situations, which will have money miraculously appear when you need it. And slowly, if you remember to say that you're going to get more than enough money, you will be attracting more than enough money. And the things that you need will be much easier for yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there other questions?
Ron Carr, my name is Elizabeth, and I am relatively new to meditation and things of that nature. And recently, when I am meditating, I see things on a flip chart very quickly. I'm wondering if there's something I can do to slow it down so that I could see what it is that I'm seeing. It almost seems like people's faces, but then they're pulled away and something else comes in its place.
Yes, that is not a totally uncommon thing to happen in meditation. It is simply just to continue to meditate. Now you can set up the situation before you go into meditation by simply holding the thought that if there is something important for you to see there, that you will be able to read it. But otherwise, know that because you are in meditation, the information that is coming to you is not coming into your conscious mind, but that which is on those flip charts, as you have called them, is information that is going into your mind all the same. It is going in there. And what you need to do is just know that you're getting that information, even though you're not getting it with your conscious mind. You'll find it surfaces in your conscious mind at a later time when you have a need to know it. Or perhaps you will simply ask a question. I wonder why this happens. And then suddenly, you know, at a later time, perhaps after a meditation or even a week later, if this is a question that you continue to have in your mind, you will suddenly understand how it happens. And you will be able to then move on from there. You will find that in meditation, you acquire a great deal of knowledge, but not consciously. It is simply there when you need it at a future point in time. And you may, if you are sensitive to that, to a fact, wonder, where did I get this information from? But you know it's correct information. You know it's right. It makes sense. And so you will have already received these things in meditation. Do not worry whether you can read it or not. It is coming into you into your subconscious mind, so to speak, into your head, into your memory. It can be accessed when you need it. Okay. I know that people receive, I know that you receive much information in such a way.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Are there other questions?
Come on, ask a question. Help Laurie ask a question. That's my friend Laurie, I think. Why don't you say hi to her?
Is there another question? I hear people speaking, but they do not seem to have a question.
There's one coming.
Excuse me?
I think there's one coming. It's a Suzanne. Nope, she just muted herself. Maybe not. Well, it is 8:50. You can make a last call.
So it is, I am told the time is now 8:50, which means we are nearing the end of our session. So if there is any last call, otherwise I will say goodnight. I will wait just a moment. As there appears to be no more questions, did someone unmute?
I did, Ron Carr. It's Teresa.
Hi,
And
Teresa.
I have a question. I'm going to have to move in a couple of months or whatever, and I was just wondering if you have any idea where I might move to or where would be a good place for me.
You're just looking for a new place to live because you have to move out of your current residence because your lease is up or you have sold your home?
Yes, they're selling the house, yes.
And then you have a delightful opportunity to decide where you want to move if you really want to move somewhere else. If you are going to be working, of course, it's always good to look at the commute for yourself. I can only give you common sense answers for this, but you will have to decide.
Okay.
You can simply make a wish list on what you want and send it out into the universe and say that you want an apartment or you want to have a perfect home or you want something and you need it to be within a half an hour's driving time of your work or your mother or wherever it is you wish to live, and you want the weather to be this and you want to have enough space for that, and it will be put down what you consider two different things: the essentials in you that you want to have, and then kind of like a wish list of what you would like to have. And then if you take the time to meditate during the day or not, you can always choose to set up a series of operations, affirmations is what I wish to say. Affirmations that go something like, I know that I have found the perfect place for me to live. It is, and then specify those things that we talked about that are musts, so that you know that this place will meet your every need in every way and be well within that which you can afford, and to be and say that. And that will send the vibration out into the universe that this is what you want, this is what you need. And because you are certain of that, because you use the term, I know that I have found the perfect place for me to live, that you are sending out that situation to manifest for yourself. And then when it comes time for you to find that place, you simply go and search where you want to, and you will find exactly what you are looking for, because you have already set up the vibration. Everything in this universe is connected. Every person, everything, every animal, we are all connected because we are all made up of the substance of God. And we are all one within God and within God's mind. And you can think of it, if you wish, as you are directly speaking to God about what you want to get. And God, the creator, which is part of, you are part of God, the creator. You are a creator in your own right. You are dictating what it is you wish to experience and what you want to find and where you want to live. And then you go out when the time is right to search for it. But you spend the time beforehand thinking about what you want, where you want it to be. Right now you are asking me, so to speak, to give you a clue. But it has to come from you because it has to make you happy. And so think about what it is that you need. And then perhaps you will find the exact right apartment or home for yourself that will suit your every need, simply because you state it, simply because you know that you're going to find it. And that influences the world around you to line up and give you what you want. And this too is called the law of attraction. And you have certainly heard about that, I am sure.
I have, thank you.
You are most welcome. And I believe that will be the last question for this evening. So I give you all my blessings. Good night. Rana will be back. Hi, I'm back. Okay, well, now there's only time for me to say goodnight to, and remember, I love you all, and good night.
Good night.
Good night. God bless.
Good night.
Good night, be well.